Applications, Kottayam. I'm Dr. Lija Jacob, Assistant Professor in St. Kitts College of Engineering. St. Kitts Group of Professional Institutions started in the year 2002 is situated in the district Kottayam in Kerala state. We have 7 NBA accredited courses, of which 5 are in engineering and 2 PG, MCA and MBA. Ours is the only MCA college in South India with NBA accreditation. This program is organized as part of Information Security Education and Awareness Project or ISEA project. Government of India has launched ISEA projects through the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. The main objective of this venture is to spread awareness in information security among Indian citizens and to generate quality human resource in the area of information security at various levels from certificate level to doctorate level. For this, ISEA conducts ISEA workshops and talks at schools and colleges, etc. ISEA ensures that these programs definitely contribute to make every school cyber safe and every participant aware of the importance of cybersecurity. St. Kitts is fortunate to get an opportunity to collaborate with ISEA, CDAC Hyderabad, and ISEA at this webinar. Today we have with us an eminent expert, Sri C.H.A.S. Murthy, Associate Director, CDAC Hyderabad. Sir has 19 plus years of experience in government and IT industry and extensively working on national level projects such as ISEA, Garuda Grid, National Supercomputing Mission, Param Supercomputing Facility projects, including design, development, and implementation of various R&D projects in systems, networks, and information security. The projects like NDCRTC, ICA Awareness recognized with DSCI Excellency Awards, and Sir himself got Cybersecurity Educator Award for Asia Pacific region for the year 2017 from Global Cyber Excellency Awards. Sir's area of interest are security operations and analytics, incident and forensic analysis, security analytics and protocol analysis, systems and network exploit and penetration testing. He has 3 IEEE papers and more than 50 columns and publications on cyber security. His professional certifications include Certified Wireless Assessor and Advanced Exploit and Penetration Tester. He is a lead auditor and certified by ISMS, and Sir has got certifications in incident handling, forensic analysis, and network security. We are really honored to have you with us today. Welcome you, sir. I will I welcome all the coordinators, M. Jagadish Babu sir, who is a project manager, ISCA CDAC Hyderabad, and ISCA team who have planned and organized this webinar. I also take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Rajesh K.S., HOD-MCA, St. Kitts Institution of Computer Applications, and all dignitaries, faculty members, and all the participants to this webinar. Welcome you once again. Now let's begin the session. Over to you, Moti sir.
Thank you, madam, for a nice introduction about me. And thank you all from the St. Kitts College, Kottayam, and especially the Department of Computer Applications. And I'm very happy about this security tools for cyber security lecture. Maybe after this lecture, whatever the questions, I can take it up, maybe in between breaks also. We also would like to give some kind of an e-certificate after some assessment, so that I request you to please go through entire lecture so that you will get in a kind of 15 to 20 questions where you have to assess it, and after assessment you may get this e-certificate. So let's begin my session. Maybe this session is both technical and non-technical. As I understood, some of the technical, non-technical people are also available in this to understand what is exactly cybersecurity, so that I'll try to explain about cybersecurity and what kind of tools are required for a normal individual who is only accessing internet, and even a researchers and some kind of a cyber exploiters. So that means what I mean is that for students, research students also, I'll try to give some kind of a tools without spending as much as budget, because every cybersecurity tool is presently, if it is a commercial tool, is very costly affair. So we will discuss why they are much costly affair, and why we need to consider open source tools for the cybersecurity. That we will take it off in this lecture to and also segregate with respect to the various users, various stakeholders. So this lecture is especially which we are conducting through Saint Gates Institute of Computer Applications, Kottayam, Kerala. I thank for their all support to initiate this lecture. So this is a kind of an agenda. We will look about the introduction of open security tools and what kind of common methodologies for basically to have kind of a cyber security tools and techniques. And for that, we need to understand some kind of basic security concepts and the various attacks and vulnerabilities, some solutions, data confidentiality. If time permits, we'll also look about the challenge and trends. So while learning all these things, we will discuss about what kind of tools are available. That we will look into that. So this is one latest news during last 2 months. IBM buys Red Hat in 34 billion deal, adding Linux distributors. So you all may be knowing Red Hat Enterprise's Linux operating system is based on the open source. So it is also available on open source, and the same commercial is only for the support. Basically, any open source tool is selling with some price. It is only for the support customization purpose only. So when even the Red Hat for that kind of jobs, it's become a kind of in a bigger organization to build and support, and as much as many revenue deals are there with them. So at 34 billion, it's the biggest software acquisition ever. So why is IBM spending so much money on Red Hat? Maybe the reason could be the twofold. First, it's about positioning IBM as a cloud power. Second, it's about investing in open source. The two are intimately connected. Let's take in the cloud software, except for Microsoft Azure. If you say any cloud, the cloud is built on Linux. That means open source software. Even if you consider Azure, the Microsoft Azure, Linux virtual machines now make up half of Azure's cloud. More than 50% of Microsoft cloud itself now filled with Linux virtual machines. So many of those, by the way, the Red Hat Enterprises Linux VMs only. And whether you know or not, IBM has a long history of working in open source. In fact, in many ways, IBM is partly responsible for the open source movement success. IBM's strong support for Linux with patent pledges and the investment of significant technical resources in the face of some of legal uncertainty surrounding its use in late 1990s. So brought about a change in posture toward open source. But here, if IBM wants, they can invest in manpower and consider all the open source built by Red Hat and redesign it and resell it. But why IBM is buying is becoming wanted to support more on open source, and he wanted to become in the more on cloud, and more on they wanted to invest on cyber security. So there are so many open source facilitators are there with respect to open source movement. But however, coming to the cyber security, these are the major open source facilitators. Like if you see National Institute of Standards and Technology, you will get all kind of cyber security policies, procedures that all is required for the information security management system. So all the related documents and the respective tools are available. And SourceForge is supporting a lot of tools by supporting either both way. So basically getting from the expertise across the world, and also a kind of an investment in the open source. And OSSEC, offensive security, are the tool, the supporting to various intrusion detection and intrusion prevention kind of tool, even though they were supporting more on basically on like a monitoring offensive kind of tools. And of course, OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project, which strongly recommending a kind of an editing tools with respect to web applications. Now coming to the Python, as all of you know about that Python, a kind of a programming where it supports, and if you see that the 90% of these security tools technologies built on Python. Of course, there are other open source tools like Perl, Ruby, and also available, but now Python becoming slowly as much as uh, the market share in the security product. Of course, GitHub is again now it is open to everybody, so that whatever you're doing, GitHub is supporting a lot for your versioning system. So that's what I always thankful to. Most of the open source lovers are uh, thanks to these open source facilitators. Now, why we use open source security tools or free tools which are built with open source. Open source programs give you a complete freedom without any shady terms and conditions. Suppose, let's say if you are using a commercial tool, the commercial tool may be a particular 1 year. If you are antivirus, the antivirus product could be for 1 year only. After second, you have to renew the same in second year. That means you have to invest it. And also they come within a lot of terms and condition that you need to kind of picture within a MAC address of your system, so that you cannot install once more in another system. But when it is coming to the open source tools, there is no such kind of what you say that any terms conditions with respect to buying the tool. So that is what one better thing will be available. Now coming to that second point, code is readily available. That means if you are coder, so then definitely you go and you can revisit about your requirements or your organization requirement, and you can reconfigure that. Moreover, no spying guys. So basically, what do you mean by no spying guys? If you are buying any product, antivirus, antivirus itself understands about you and what kind of attacks are coming towards your system, and what kind of threats are towards your system. So it understands and it updates back to the respective vendor. So vendor is learning the database from your system, from you, and he is building that. So am I right? So that means, so when you are installing a app in mobile, so app is understanding about what are your contacts, what are your things. So without that terms, without if you are enabling that, you cannot share the data, so you cannot use app. Even though they are giving, some of the apps are free. So like this, even these security tools at your system also is a similar manner. How you are able to give the data without any terms and condition by your side. You are for to access that particular app, but app is definitely saying that if you allow only, then this app works. Otherwise, that particular app won't install in your mobile. The similar thing is also here. Until you install something or agreeing for their terms and conditions, even though you are paying that particular commercial software, you can't install it. So, and they continue, but parallelly, they are continuously monitoring your things, your activities, and recording their activities. And cost is one of the reasons why security professionals spend some of their time working with open source tools. So any software security tool, if you take it, it is minimum of 3 lakhs to 10 lakh rupees. Even though antivirus as itself is like in a 25,000 to 30,000 or 4,000 to 5,000, based on that vendor will be there. But every year you have to buy that of 800, 200, like in 2,500, whatever the price is buying. And there is no such thing that you are buying from last 10 years, there is no discount. So they may be every 3 years they will release again and again. Like how you are buying a Windows machine, Windows 10, Windows 8, you bought it. Now already Windows 10 came. Even if you are buying in a 20,000 rupees, after 3 years, half is 2015 will come. So like that, you need to invest a lot of money and regularly. So that can be avoided with open source. Whether for learning and experience, experimenting, dealing with new or unique solutions. Suppose in your organization, or you are a researcher, or you are a PhD student, if you wanted to implement these tools and test, or building a test beds, it is very difficult for a level of a student or a level of research scholar. So that's where open source tools are very much useful. So they offer features or performance better than any commercial tools if you consider some of the tools, which we will discuss definitely. So what is that open source software? Open source software refers to a collaborative software that is developed collaboratively, tested and improved collaboratively, and also distributed with that idea that there must be shared with others, ensuring an open for a collaboration in using, in testing, in improving. That means across the globe, whomever interested, they are all joining together and they are building, they are developing, they are testing and improving and releasing to the public so that public can use as much as. When coming to the open source software for cyber security, we can say that so there is no specific features tool with compared to commercial tool, but definitely you can say that if you say some commercial tool, we can we can have or we have some kind of an alternative to a commercial tool. So that is where open source tools for cyber security. When it is coming cyber security tracks, so how can we classify activities in cyberspace? So basically, there are three different types of are there. So the first one, offensive. Offensive security is nothing but it deploys a proactive approach to security through the use of ethical hacking. That means when you are a user of an internet, so you are proactively working about what kind of threats you have and how to avoid threats. So that means proactively you are understanding about your organization or your systems or your individual uses and estimate what kind of threats are can possible so that you will prepare for that. That is where majorly offensive security comes. When it is a defensive basically uses a reactive approach to security that process focuses on prevention, detection, and response to attacks. So the defensive mechanism is a kind of that you use a antivirus, but you don't know whether the antivirus, the particular antivirus rightly fits for your user or not. But when it is a coming to the offensive, you know that these kind of attacks are coming to are possible to come to your system or as an individual user or as an organization, then accordingly you will build some kind of softwares where you can continuously monitor and block that. Where defensive you will use only for the as a preventive measure, but there is no guarantee that that particular tool definitely works or not with respect to a particular cyber threat. In this case, you are not proactively estimating any kind of risk or threat towards you or your organization. So general means sometimes you will use both offensive and defensive, utilizes a mix of offensive and defensive tactics to provide cyber security. So within the increasing of cyber breaches and hackers sophistication and diversification of threat vectors, companies must incorporate offensive security strategies into their cyber and information security programs. But however, so when it is proactively is more on related to offensive, reactive is more on related to defensive. And if you look into about the reactive things, the incident response, and that means when attack has happened, then you are responding it with respect to particular that incident. The cyber forensic kind of in a subject where once something then only the cyber forensic engineers will come and look about that, how it happened, why it happened, and all. So where offensive security majorly looking about that to understand the activities. Let me see that. Uh, where does cyber defense stop and offense again? So if you see that when you are part of offensive security, you will do all kind of reconnaissance about your organization. Suppose an individual user, you are using an internet. So when you are using internet, what kind of possible threats? Suppose, let's say if you are using in a normal browser where the browser vendor itself can monitor you, like whenever you are buying in Amazon, or whenever you are searching in Amazon or any uh, other kind of things. So what happens? The basically that browser understands your activity and it's trying to remember. So if suppose that that is like in a threat that Amazon is collecting the data of your threat, what you need to use? You need to use some privacy browser rather than normal browser. So like that, he understands. You have to understand about what kind of threats before using internet. Similarly, an organization also do all these activities and build their particular like in a cyber defense. Once if it is coming to the defensive, if something happen, it tries to identify, collecting the related to that particular incident, then protecting methods they will use it, and responding and recovering they will do it. So basically all these things should be in the generalized mode. You have to collect the information continuously, build threat intelligence, and analyze it and disseminate. So this is basically to understand for the research scholars, but normal members now, any normal user who is accessing internet, they should also use this kind of things in simple manner, like how to secure your browser, how to do that. So for that, we need to understand an user point of view in general. So you are the user at home. You are staying at home and using an internet, and your internet, you may be using a broadband router. Am I right? So in this router, instead of broadband router, maybe you are connecting a wireless access point which the broadband ISP has been given, and that maybe you need to connect number of people, like in a switch might be you are using. Sometimes some people doesn't have switch because all the devices which are connected at home could be in a wireless based devices. If any wired based devices are there, then only you require switch. So this is what simple network at your place. Maybe what exactly you do, you require to access internet for mailing, communication purpose, or doing some kind of financial transaction, or you are part of now student, you might be accessing the various video lectures and all. If you are a research student, maybe you are using both the research publications and the Git repositories. So now what exactly you need to understand basic security concept. So basically you have to understand about, just a minute, some where some problem is came. Okay. So this is the basically normal flow that any member is communicating with other member through internet communication system. So generally, if you are sending a mail and the mail is delivered to whom to intended, that is called generally normal flow. So if you are sending a chat via WhatsApp, if it is delivered, we can say that, so that whatever indented communication happened, so that's what we call as a normal flow. So suppose in there sometimes what happens, if you wanted to access a kind of a web page, but that web page not found, or a web page is not when you requested, nothing is visible, and it is maybe hanged. So somebody is interrupting. In generally, if you are working in an organization, some of the websites, if you are as per not the policy of an organization, they blocks. So you cannot access. You are accessing www.youtube.com, but your organization blocked not to show any YouTube videos in the while you are working, so that you can't see movies and all, rather than you concentrate on your work. So while you are trying to access youtube.com, what happens? Instead of that page, your organization page may come. So this is called interrupting you not to accessing your YouTube page, whatever you interested. we have an interest, that interest is stopped by your organization. So this is called interruption. Then when it is modification, the basically it is also a kind of a technology based modification. When you are sending a message hello to your friend, but in between I'm collecting your data and converting your hello message to hi and delivering. So your friend is thinking about that. So you have sent a hello, hi message instead of hello what you have sent. So this is called modification in generally. This is called modification. And interruption. In this case, I never modify anything, but whatever you are sending, what kind of message you are accessing, that I am monitoring, intercepting your data and collecting the data, so that what exactly you are sending, what kind of messages you are forwarding, these things can be evaluated or monitored and evaluating, and the necessary action can be taken. So that is the interception. So now coming to the fabrication. The fabrication, the basically you didn't send any message, but somebody is sending on behalf of you as you have sent. So this is called a fabrication. You may be accessing a lot of lottery emails, lot of banking emails, such that either ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank are sending these emails to update your accounts. But basically, HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank never send such messages to update this network, update such kind of any information. So somebody has fabricated their emails, or they spoofed their emails and fabricated that message, and posting look like an HDFC message. So this is called fabrication in terms of cyber security. But this reputation is that if somebody maybe like what happens, if I'm sending in a message, after receiving also, that person is denying that he didn't get. This is called, so for reputation kind of thing, because when he didn't get, so such messages reached to me, then what I will do, I will again send it again. In other side, even though after sending a kind of a threatened mail to somebody, but so never play, I say that I never send such kind of message. This may be possible happens on behalf of somebody can send that mail, threatened mail. So these are the kind of attacks could come under reputation. Now coming to that, if the normal flow is there, somebody is interrupting means what? So that particular website, when you requested, it is not going to that particular website because of two reasons. The website is not really available in the internet, or even the available, so somebody is interrupting. So interrupting will always comes availability. So against to the availability. So if nothing is availability, there is no need to look about the security. Am I right? If you are not giving, if you are not sharing anything, and if you are keeping and keep it in safe as much as in your almara, so nobody knows about, no use of that. So there is no need to talk about the security. So when it somebody is able to modify your data, even though some like from hello to hi, that means what? There is no integrity. So the data doesn't have integrity, because what you have sent, it is not going to the actual intended user. So somebody is able to change it. So interception, like somebody is telephone tapping, he is listening about the secrets between you and your recipient, so that your whatever you are talking each other, that would be somebody listening. Like in telephone tapping. Here also, whatever the data you are sending, somebody is able to see the data, so there is no confidentiality. So fabrication, so means there is no authenticity. Who has sent that? So there are no right person or no authenticated person is sending that particular message. So that is against to authenticity. So reputation kill a non-reputation. So now, so we look about the data confidentiality. The basically, so we required the to create a confidentiality about the data is in such a way that somebody should not do or tamper your data. You need use some kind of encryption tools. That encryption is simply, I will explain within 1 minute. So if we have some kind of a clear desert document, you need to encrypt the data. Let's say take example of your Microsoft Word. If you are sending this Microsoft Word document, if in between somebody can collect the Microsoft Word and can open and see the content of that particular Microsoft. So otherwise, what happens if you are keeping a password? Like password is nothing. So that data, if even I get the file in between and opening that particular Word file, I required password. Am I right? So password is required to open that file. So otherwise, what happens? Even I try to do some kind of things until I crack your password, I cannot open that file. The encryption also in the same. And you have to send a clear text. If you are using becomes some jumbled data where you have to apply one key, that key, then you have to send it to the other side. So that person should use the same key, whatever the key you use it, or there could be a public key mechanism available that also we'll discuss. So that key is required to open that system. So then only whatever the Bob message is, so the data you required, you should open with that key itself. So this is called clear text and this is called ciphertext and this is again back to clear text. So when you are changing into clear text to ciphertext, that is called encryption. When the ciphertext to clear text called as an decryption. So you required encryption and decryption tools. So before that tools we discuss, this is what you understand. You need to understand this concept. So if we are for encryption and decryption, if you are using only one key, that is called as like a symmetric dual purpose key, because encrypting the same key we have to use it. So that is way, so that this kind of algorithms who is uses the what kind of the key, only one single key if using, that algorithm is called an asymmetric algorithm for understanding purpose. The asymmetric algorithm is when you have two keys. One is for encrypting, another one for decrypting. For encrypting is basically we use we generally say locking key. For decrypting, unlocking key. So there are two different keys are required in asymmetric algorithm, or in symmetric algorithm only one key is required for both encryption and decryption. For asymmetric algorithm, you require two different keys. One is for encryption, second one is for decryption. So what kind of see this encryption you can apply the various level. So this entire communication is happening in the layer. So application layer is basically file and all. But however, TCP layer is basically on TCP and UDP protocols, and this is called and layers 1 2 is like a linked layer encryption. Whatever your data sending from one side to other side encrypted, or otherwise at the router levels we encrypted. We will discuss about these things in detail if the time permits. So but other side to understand for researchers where this encryption and cryptography can be used across the layer communication. And of course you need to understand there is these are the 7 layers where I maybe I hope that some normal user doesn't understand this level 7 layer mechanism, but however these are the some kind of examples or common where research students can understand where exactly happens. See, if you look into the application layer, most of the viruses, web application attacks will happen on application layer, because your web is nothing but your HTTP protocol is in the application layer, and attacking data transmission by cracking encryption codes and all. So between SSL and all works on web is at the presentation layer, so that most of the attacks will on presentation layer with respect to encryption codes. Where session layer is basically is the unauthorized access, stolen session passwords, root permissions would be under session layer. Your router attack, denial of service attacks, TCP/IP address spoofing, and man-in-the-middle attacks all will happen in the transport layer and network layer. Of course, wire trapping, network snipping, Trojan horse programs implementation all would be done at layer 1 and 2. So this is for understanding purpose, for particularly to the research students or engineering students or MCA students. So what kind of tools are available for implementing CIA? CIA is a confidentiality, integrity, and availability. When it is confidentiality, secure data storage. You need to data wherever you are storing, whether it could be in your mobile, whether it could be in your system. You need to store securely. And also when you are communicating from your mobile to somebody's mobile, or your mobile to somebody's system, or your system to somebody mobile, so you need to also do some secure communication. So you might have heard about that WhatsApp is using end-to-end communication, end-to-end encryption, where whatever you are sending from your mobile through WhatsApp, it is encrypted and it is going towards whom you are sending, that other WhatsApp user. So remember it, that end-to-end encryption is only on communication, not, let's say if you have a picture, you are forwarding good morning message within a picture, that at your mobile is not encrypted. If anybody is having your mobile, he can see message. So that won't encrypt automatically. That never asks even for you also a password to open such file. So there is no need of key to open that file in your mobile. So the WhatsApp communication in general on data move, that means when it is communicating from one mobile to another mobile, is only the secured. So with the end-to-end encryption. So that is what called secure data transfer. So integrity, as we have seen, most of your students or most of members who are accessing internet, they may download from a lot of softwares. Let's say if you are downloading a patch to your Windows, if you are not downloading from the not Microsoft site, if you are downloading from a third party software, what is the guarantee that the same patch is what Microsoft developed? So we always suggest as a first tip, if you wanted to download a patch for a Microsoft Windows, better to download from the Microsoft itself. So while downloading, as we discussed it initially, if third party or in between somebody is modifying that patch, what exactly you do? So that's what there is an integrity should be there. So generally when, especially when you are downloading open source tools, so they also give MD check file. So that means whatever that file was, they were kept for downloading. So that would be checked with an MD5. The same when you are downloading at your place, at your system. So you have to do again MD5 check with the MD5 tool, so that the once your integrity checked it, whatever the unique number is coming, that number and wherever that mentioned in the website number should be equal, then only we can say that nobody changed anything with respect to that patch or file. So that's what there is very much important MD5 check integrity tools. Now coming to the secure data storage, these are the tools are available. Crash plan, of course, I think I heard that this crash plan tool now they are making as an commercial tool. Otherwise, whatever you are storing at your system, if you wanted to backup, and you can use 448-bit encryption, including private key option, and you can keep your drive. Suppose let's say you are saving a lot of data in Google Drive. Is it Google? If otherwise, if when it is not encrypted, even the Google itself can access your data, because they are giving free. When you are giving, that means what is nothing but they can, if you can go through terms and conditions of Google, you can check it about that. So what, how, what way they can use it entire your data, or how they can use it entire data. So that is where you may have some risk that Google can track, Google can share some information with respect to your data. If you don't want to share by Google, what exactly you need to do that? You have to encrypt the file at your place and upload into the Google. So Google may not see that. The third party users or advertisers may not see about your data. So for such things you require like a crash plan. But crash plan now becoming slowly commercial. I think by this time they were commercial, but you check that their free software with some conditions, you can see that the conditions are very important. So you have to look about that what are those conditions in such a way that you will understand how your data, what kind of risks you have on data. SpiderWalk is also cloud data storage solution that locally on your computer and then uploads it to SpiderWalk servers. See, basically, there is no need of any special. If you install SpiderWalk at your system, it automatically encrypts the data when it is uploading to their servers. Any changes you make to your files and folders are synced with the local decrypted versions. So before being secured and uploaded, that is what the SpiderWalk tool. And the third one is a Treasure IT data storage solution that offers best-in-class protection and privacy. The similar to the SpiderWalk, whatever your changes you are saving at your local file, and in the similarly it also saves at your cloud. So, but however, these are the some of the initially 1 year back they are all free, but now you have to check that whether free or some kind of a charges are they implemented or not. So a messaging platform. See the WhatsApp, they have so much what you can say that there are so many security problems are there, and they are very easily able to track people, or even the how many of you believe that the government is tracking entire WhatsApp communication? If you believe that WhatsApp communication is uh, tracked by government, then how can you say that the WhatsApp is an end-to-end encryption tool? End-to-end encryption tool means from your mobile to your friend's mobile, it should be encrypted. Then how government is tracking? Even though government is tracking, so what is how much level they will track it? How they will analyze it? Because at least 30 crore people may be using WhatsApp. So 30 crore into every day into number of messages into and multiply as many as these things, then how much data where they are keeping, how much data they are keeping. So these are the challenges. And maybe you also think now whether government is really tracking, just look it about. So but there is another alternative tool, Vicar, a messaging platform that is designed to give control over security back to their users. Encrypt the data with AES 256. Is the 256 bit is very strong at this moment. But however, whatever that SSL HTTPS which we are using at our credit card transaction and all is 128 bit only, but now at present. So, but this encrypts data with the 256 bit means double the encryption support. And it also works on all Windows, OS X, Linux 32-bit and Linux 64-bit, and Android and iOS also. So Vicar is a very good communication messaging tool, and you just install and load it, and it is within a 256-bit key. And so maybe you're using some tools basically like share it, or what is other tools, other tool is banned by government, such kind of services that you send the receive files that encrypted in the browser. So send it on the net. When you look into it as a word, it will be very difficult, but if you segregate this thing, excuse me, send it on the net. It's a free service that lets you send and receive files that are encrypted in the browser. It works entirely through a web browser. There is no requirement specially install at your place. And you get an 80 MB attachment limit. Enter to accompany your packages. And while the text is not RSA encrypted, though the whole message is still event on HTTPS. That is 128 bit. So of course, WeTransfer, instead of WeTransfer, you can use this also to forward the 80 MB files. So Monica is an open national CR. Basically, and using the web-based app. So all you can keep it, and whatever the messages they have sent, and the date-wise you can segregate, and you can beautifully have a kind of a dashboards, and when you discussed what kind of files you transferred, everything you can see here at one place rather than WhatsApp. Suppose, let's say, if you are sending a kind of an information a long back 1 year back and you retrieve that. But when it is coming here in Monica, so you can retrieve very easily. And moreover, suppose if you have your own system at your place, you can build for only your friends, and among your friends can use this thing. And there is no such thing. The server is somewhere, and whatever the data and whatever the files you are transferring through through your software, your web, they may be like a third party, they can collecting your data. Such kind of thing is not there. If you have a good machine and you can configure this at your place and you can give it to the but this should be continuously on internet so that other friends can update you. Otherwise, if you wanted to use at home and whenever you wanted to use it, but at the same time your friends also should use, so this server, at least one server among your thousand of friends can be utilized and build that. And organizations or research students can build further features by downloading and enabling this and looking about the various features and additional features that they can enable it and build these open CRM related research activities. OpenSSL is a before 2014 secure socket layer or excuse me, and transport layer security were mostly unheard of outside of developer and security circles. Uh, because of the reason of there is an attack, heartbleed attack on this OpenSSL. Although the project is open source, they explicitly warn people not to use it over OpenSSL. Because of that, there is this heartbleed problem is there. But however, in your organization, and if your good people are there, that kind of patches you can upload, patch it, and you can use it on alternative of SSL and TLS. Then online Onion Share. Onion Share is an open source tool for securely and anonymously sending and receiving files using Tor Onion services. So if you want to be part of a Tor, how many of using Tor? I don't know Tor browser, but however, Tor browser is basically you can use it for normal internet. That means clear web, deep web, and dark web. Clear web is generally people says that only the 4% is of the data. That means as an individual user, whatever the files are accessing at present in internet, the indexing, what has happened, that is only the total internet documents or internet sharing is only the 4%. That means most of the 90% or more than 94% people are using only the 4% of the internet itself. The remaining 90 percentage out of 96 percentage is the deep web. Deep web it's 12 hours. Deep web is nothing but, so basically whatever the file, suppose let's say you have your own file in your system, but because your system is not in internet, the people cannot access. But whenever your system is connected to internet, somebody has taken that file and kept it in a deep web, and he is kept it for his purpose. He may be sharing with the 5 members. Like you are buying a book from an official website as a PDF file you downloaded. This PDF file is shared with your friend. Your friend was shared with your friend. But if you are really looking into that PDF in the normal internet, you may not see that. But when it is in part of peer-to-peer network, that file may be available. So the file is still in internet, but it is not available for all the users who are accessing that clear web 4% people. Such kind of, as an individual itself, you have that many files. But if you look into that organization, let's take example of CDAC. CDAC is having so many documents, but whatever their website is maybe in a 2%, 3%. The remaining 98% of documents are in CDAC, may be accessed by CDAC members in through their intranet. Their intranet is again part of internet where they are accessing using some kind of tools. So most of this data, sometimes maybe data leakage can happen. That data leakage can be not available publicly, but in the deep web may be available. So in similarly, for each and every organization across this globe, you see that that's what the deep web is majorly 96, 94%. Okay, the remaining 4%, 5%, 6% is to call dark web. They may be selling legally or illegally these documents, whatever that remaining 96 percentage document uh, at their place. That place is called dark web. Maybe they are using for the anonymously, or we may be using kind of a cryptocurrency. That is a separate subject. When time or opportunity comes, we can discuss about that. And you onion share. Suppose let's say you wanted to share anonymously to somebody. Anonymously here is a securely. You can set up at your place itself, your system itself. It works by starting a simply a web server directly on your computer and making it accessible as an unguessable. So there is a onion URL will come. This onion URL can be shared with any friend of you, and that they can share through their browser. That browser is required for sharing that because it's going through Tor browser, so that Tor browser only can access. So let's say if I installing onion share tool at my place, and I want to send a 200 MB file. So that 200 file can be converted into a kind of a URL, which is an onion based URL where I can share with you. You can access through Tor browser and download it. And whoever can share, if you are sharing to others and that file is that particular internet is there, they can also access. It is doesn't require any setting up separate server. Simply using a third party filing sharing service, or even the not logging into account also, you can do this thing. OpenWRT, maybe knowingly or knowingly, whomever using internet at their place, that means at their home, everybody is using if they are securing their Wi-Fi router. So OpenWRT is the open source Linux based firmware. What do you mean by firmware? You know about software, you know about hardware, but there is a software which works for both. You are developing as a software, and your hardware is understanding, like in a hardware driver is, we called it as in a firmware for as in a general understanding. Like in every embedded device required this firmware, and it has inbuilt web interface, and generally considered more stable than most router firmware, whether it is Cisco router or like any other routers other than the major this one. Cisco may be having their own configuration, but backend, this OpenWRT only they uses to secure your router from monitoring network traffic, running BitTorrent client, and configuring network-wide VPN. There is plenty to explore this the OpenWRT if you are much interested in dark web also. It's a kind of working as an open router. Now, as per that confidentiality, you require browsers. You generally using internet and you wanted to hide your data or your information should be very much confidential. So what kind of browsers are using? The best browser for privacy, you can say the Brave, but however, Epic privacy browser is also secure Chromium based website that whatever the Google Chrome is there, based on that, Chromium is the standard based, both Chrome, Google Chrome and this particular privacy browser, the Epic privacy browser was developed on Chromium. Uh, these two, the best Brave and this particularly Epic privacy browser. So while you are accessing any kind of information, no other person cannot see your browser. Let's say if you are accessing kind of Amazon website, so Amazon can monitor you. If you are accessing, monitor you like whatever that you are accessing, like going to browsing of various items to buy, so that they cannot understand your behavior, why you are looking about this page. Maybe however their page so and so IP address, because it takes a kind of a secure different IPR, so it cannot recognize until you log in. If you are logging and if you are browsing, then maybe your whomever that Flipkart and Amazon can understand that you are browsing. These are the items. But if without logging into that, if generally you are browsing any data or copying any data, so they cannot identify you because your IP address may be a kind of covered through VPN technologies. And So the best for browser for the customizable privacy is Firefox. See, most of the people are users by default. But if you wanted to control your communication through your browser, if you wanted to configure by yourself, the best browser is Firefox. If you go through that, whatever the anonymity, whatever the things these two browsers are doing, the privacy browsers are doing, all these things you can set on Firefox browser and can access internet very much securely. And of course, the best for browser for customizable privacy. If you wanted to customize yourself and only wanted to share with, like what we discussed in previous slide, Onion share, that could be done with the Tor browser. I think now in India, the all of users, if you compare it, even the less than 5% of users only using the Tor, because the Tor is basically generally people says that for using dark web. See, there is no illegal thing while you are accessing dark web. That is also part of web. But however, if you are doing some transactions illegally on dark web, then it is comes under cyber crime point of view. It's like a criminal activity with respect to cyber criminal activity. Now, see your internet, you are secured, your data confidentiality, anonymity browsers you are using. So integrity and confidentiality more we checked about that previous tool. But then integrity is that as you discussed, like something downloading, the MD5 file is required. Am I right? In similarly, the any file you are sending, that file is whether integrity is there or not, or you are downloading that file, you can use some file integrity monitoring tools where, like, if you visit this website, and because of the time constraint, I'm not going through the websites and explaining. So this is one of the website, you can open source platform which you can do for all kinds of your system files, your system organization. Entire thing could be done through this wazua.com platform. And CSK rootkit is basically the tool to locally check for signs of any rootkits are available, or anybody is already sitting on your system and understanding your activity. To find such kind of rootkits, so CSK rootkit is useful, but this is only the Linux based tool, and Windows also available, but it is not working as much as working as on Linux. Then integrity is an alternative file integrity verification programs like Tripwire. Tripwire is one of the best open source tool 2 to 3 years back, where it is fully commercialized, and aid is also is commercialized. Now integrity is some people who are taken and building on this best features of Tripwire and aid tool. So the integrity can be used that. So that means whatever the file you have, if anybody is coming and changing, whether you wanted to understand, you can, and that day and now, what are the changes happened with respect to your document could be looked about through this tool. OSIRIS is also file integrity management system that periodically monitors one or more hosts for change. And SSMI is also simple integrity management tool, file integrity checker. So it's like continuously editing your website, and any changes are happening with respect to your website would be intimated. Intact file, that individual files, whether tagged or intact, it can be checked. So these are the tools could be taken care of. Either you are part of an individual access or you are part of an organization access. If it is organization, you can make it for as a customized enterprises tools by taking the entire source code or build for that particular things. So now coming to the disk encryption is the best tool. TrueCrypt is a great tool which serves the purpose of disk encryption. So entire disk, if you wanted to encrypt always, if anybody was trying to access, they can't access, even they access, they can't see the of your files. And use it to encrypt the entire volumes. Like if you have a Windows, there are different volumes. Linux, like /opt, /bin, all these things can be integrated, encrypted with volumes to keep data safe from physical theft by prying and attackers. And it works on principle on the fly encryption. So it automatically encrypts whenever you require it on the fly. So along with that, You need to use antivirus tools. Maybe you are buying a lot of licenses, and every year as an individual number of system, based on the number of systems at your home, you are buying an antivirus. But if you can install and claim maybe, and look about that comparison with this, CLA maybe is one of the powerful antivirus scanner focused towards integration with mail servers and attachment scanning. So why I'm telling that, this particular tool is basically we use it for at the enterprises. If we have a mail server, we will attach the mail server this entire CLA maybe, so that whatever that attachments are coming any mail, it scans. When we are using at anti such kind of a software at a enterprise level, why can't you use it for every individual purposes? So you may go through www.clamab.net and see that what kind of tool, how you can install it and check it, and it works any other tool, commercial tool. ClamWin, if you are in a Windows user, free antivirus is used by more than 6 lakh people across worldwide, and it comes with an easy installer and open source code. So you may be downloading and use it absolutely free of charge. There is no terms and conditions. Scheduler, automatic downloads. That see, antivirus software work on two principles. Basically, you will first one is, see, whatever that patches every day. See, because the people used to believe that there are 6,000 unique viruses are coming with respect to various devices, various operating system, various applications. So out of 6,000, your system may have one or two on daily basis, or may not have also. So whoever updates and regularly with respect to these 6,000 viruses, or otherwise based on their clients who are using the applications, at least they were releasing, then only we called it as this antivirus as the best virus. Otherwise, we cannot say simply a particular antivirus is the best across the globe. So in that scenario, this they were giving free, and they are updating. All updating people are across global. See, in a commercial software, there are 200 people are working, or 500 people are working, or 5,000 people are working across the globe. But when it is coming to the open source, more than 5,000 people may work because of their share, their vision. They were sharing each other and they were supporting each other. So if number of users are increasing, because what I have seen last 20 years, the most of the softwares which are there, which I used in 2000 up to 2010, they are all now commercial softwares, and they are having a lot of good revenue at this moment. So it's not like that the open source is always open source. The open source becoming in future commercial tools. For that, people should use, people should understand, people should build these kind of tools to support. So when at present it is coming as a free or open source, let use it, and let please give feedback accordingly. So the people used to say that this is the alternative to Kaspersky antivirus, McAfee antivirus. So when it is, the people are recommending in such a way that why we can't use it. The virus total, it's a virus total website. You can, anybody can use it. So you, if you have any doubt on a particular file which is having virus, if you feel that, you can upload it on that and look into that uploading and see that whether that particular file is having virus or not. But in this, what is the risk? You are uploading file to virus total. So virus total is having have a file. That means it's having your contents also. This risk is there. You have to look into about that. So for research people, there are like in a virus total hunting, virus total intelligence activities also there. If anybody is working in for like a threat hunting, threat intelligence, they can install a free editions of 1 month and see that how it is working. Then apply to your research. Malware Bytes is another anti-malware, a malware scanner for Windows. So not only Windows, now it is extended to Mac, Linux also. So they claim to use a variety of technologies to find malware undetectable by other malware scanners. They always claim that malware scanners will continuously scan in whatever the things are coming to your system. But these malware bytes they were giving to free understand various malwares across the globe. Based on that, they were writing anti-signatures to the root cause of the malware. So that's what they are unique. They are saying. However, when it is coming a free trial, now they were slowly. This is till yesterday. This is free, but from this year they were trying only free trial. So that's what everybody is becoming. Every tool is becoming slowly commercial. But however, we should not worry about that. So that whatever the base open source code, always somebody can take it and do it. Like that research students are taking these things and they were making continue efforts to be live such kind of thing. So because Tripwire is a very good file integrity tool was fully commercialized, but the entire code of the Tripwire started in the form of another name. So these are the basically for individual. Till now we have discussed an individual user, individual student or research student, or when you are home network, how what kind of things are what kind of tools we can use it. That is what we discussed it. But we when we are moving to the network side, we need to understand what kind of attacks are happens. So basically when you are part of student and campus network, the students maybe or need to understand these are the devices are layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 devices. However, where I am not discussing what is exactly layers and all, where here the normal users also available part of this network. But any network general architecture, if you look into that, so any organization, you have a department 1, department 2, and these two departments are divided with a firewall. So what is the firewall and all we'll discuss soon. Then they are connected to gateway firewall, which is gateway to the internet. They may be hosting some servers, web servers, email servers, where they could be also separated with this gateway firewall itself with this department 1, depart 2, or department 100. So this is where three-legged network. We can say that our first leg is your internet public network, and second leg is your internal network and internal departments, and third leg is like what you are hosting for public. Even though you wanted to access your website through public, you should come through firewall and access, rather than because of this is in the same organization you cannot access directly. So that is where firewall is helping in this. And continuous monitoring whoever going and accessing internet, and who are other actors are coming to towards your organization. You require intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, all security implementation required. First of all, you need to understand entire communication happens with the two addressing system. The first one is MAC address. So every system is having this MAC address when it is connected to network. So that is nothing but your network card, that address. So based on that network card address, we can identify that system across the globe. That means because of it is a unified address. It is a 48-bit address, and the first 24-bit is generally uses for the commercial vendor address, and the remaining 24-bit address is the unique address of the particular network card. But this is limited to only talking to the computers where which you are in the same LAN. It cannot further goes to network because this addressing system works in second layer, which is limited to LAN only. But if you want to connect network of networks, third layer is required. Third layer is nothing but IP or network layer where it uses IP address. So these two IP addressing systems only useful for communicating one system to another system, whether you are using mobile or other mobile. They can talk to each other on IP address and MAC address. MAC address, they are only having the data between these two when you are making like a Bluetooth kind of communication. When you are using an internet, it is required IP address because it's a third layer is required. So it's everybody thinking about that web hosting is like, and simply we are host web applications in the separate DMZ data center. But even the data center is a user is accessing the through internet and accessing. The first two are HTTP servers would be there, either HTTP server or HTTPS server. If your website is hosting both servers HTTP and HTTPS based URLs, maybe some websites, small websites use both at one place only, and they have their own firewall to the end user, And for internal networks, they are user where IDS, IPS, Kerberos server, authentication server, all they are using. And maybe this way our web application server required, but the database and web application you required like an application server like a Tomcat. So these are all divided, segregated through firewalls. So one application, one website may have 3 or 4 web filtering things because of based on that whether it is using application, web, and database. So this is the typical architecture. We'll come back to typical architecture where if you consider that previous one, organization level, these many softwares you require to install. So, but anyway, we'll come back. But if you're coming to that, how hacker can access your network? How hacker can access your PC through wireless, through internet, through modem, like in a, whatever the router which you are using for at broadband, and any backdoor. So your application having backdoor, your network device having backdoor, or your system operating system having backdoor, they can come to your place. Once he comes into your system or what he can do, he can modify logs, he can monitor your tracks, he can do some kind of fun, and he may steal files, he may modify files, he may install backdoor to continue access. He can install a bot, or otherwise he can use your system and attack an other system like in banking infrastructure. And banking infrastructure is monitoring back. Your system could be is the victim, first victim. So what kind of attacks? There are passive attacks and there are the active attacks. In passive attacks, so basically he may be doing continuously monitoring, but you don't know what is happening. But he is not doing anything harm to your system, but he is monitoring you. Whatever the apps you are installed in your mobile, they are all called passive kind of threats. They listen, they share your SMS, they share your photos to the vendor, but we don't know how they are sharing, how they are doing. Am I right? This is the passive threats. And the online active threats reply modification message, and at that time, if anything, they are able to change anything. They were stopping your accessing things actively. It is visible at that time. So that's what we called active threats. And there are so many are there. These are the protocols. When you are using protocols, ARP spoofing, IP address spoofing, UDP spoofing, is a more on technical terms which I'm skipping for you. But all these things are all part of a normal user also. So like a spoofed email comes from your bank that the bank is asking you, or lottery mail will come. That is where they have done web spoofing with IP spoofing. And even though some other spoofing techniques also can be utilized. So it's not like that it is only purely for research purpose. So whatever the threat is happening through your mobile as an individual user also use these technologies. And when it is coming applications, somebody may steal your OTP or your password. And so by snipping the data or by installing a Trojan horse program, RAT program, remote access tool program, and they may request you that install to update something, and they keep it like that and continuously monitor your financial transactions. So it applies for a normal user, a researcher, and a organization of about this application. See, if you are able to see in this picture what is that exactly you have in this PPT, if you are able to read everything what you have in this PPT, so you are very much security concerned. If you are not able to see anything in the back side of this, if you can't read this slide at the back, then I have made point. So you can't trust nobody, because so by the name of this naming, but if you clearly observe, there would be a picture in this itself. When you double click this file, that picture also download to your system. That picture could be a kind of a ransomware to help our Trojan or bot can be possible. So what are the Trojan R's which I don't want to discuss, like the instructions hidden inside on otherwise useful program that do bad things. It can come as a gift. It can come as a good morning message in WhatsApp. When you open it, so there could be file downloaded without your knowing. That file could harm initially. Virus is basically never comes to your picture without your intervention. When it come as an attachment, if you double click that attachment and then only it opens, otherwise it never opens. Worm is a self-replicating program. It's like that it is a side to another network. Let's say if I'm giving a lecture in a classroom of 20 to 30 people where I got flu previous night, but I didn't observe it. So now when I'm giving a lecture to these 20 people, who will get? Everybody says that the first benches, but it's not like first benches won't get the flu. Whoever weak, that people only will get first in that out of 20 members. So the immunity levels are good to all people. It never comes immediately. So please maintain the to healthy life to fight this COVID-19 at this moment to become strong. So whenever somebody is weak, is automatically goes. Worm is also is a kind of a program, self-replicating program where it looks everywhere where the weakness is available and it attacks that weakest person in that particular area. Trapdoor is like a documented entry point instantly turned into program. Like if you hit shift and enter 50 times of in a Excel 2000, you will get in a core game. So while designing Microsoft Excel programming, so meanwhile, whenever they get the free time, they use it to play. So they hidden in that Excel program, this program, not to keep it as open so that they can monitor it. So like they are working for Excel programming, but they use it to play. But when they made it as in a hurry to release the product, they initially first one, they released it. But this key somewhere they understood problematic things are happening that people are accidentally they hit and that game is started to play. So like so trapdoor also is a kind of such program. So it's not intentionally, but they will not undocumented, but they will keep it as an a in your program and they will send it so to understand you. So generally while you are playing a game, if the people are asking about the feedback free game, we never give it. We generally place and we leave it if anybody asks that. Suppose let's say if that developer wanted to know the feedback program automatically along with the game, you also keep some kind of in a, such a trapdoor. How many times you are opening, how much time you are playing, you can monitor it. Whether he is able to do that in any file, if you are opening in your computer, what file you are opening in your computer also can be monitored by that guy. So that is where the system is going on. So we need an antivirus tool which we discussed it. We have to use it. Logic bomb is also so I will send in a file. Good morning, but it won't say do anything harm at this moment. But after 30 days, at the same time, it can run some different program. It can behave differently because you cannot trace back. Generally, always you look into that if system is a kind of a problem is there, then what I exactly have done last 2 days, 3 days only you will look into it. You won't go up to 30 days back. Generally, we use it to say that till yesterday it is good, but now it's not working. So yesterday I loaded something because of that. That way, your thinking process would be there. To attack such kind of people, to hide ourselves, we use logic forms. Zombies are basically the background program. Now you see this July 19th, 2001. It is a very old one, but it applies to everybody now also at present. See, at morning, early morning, this is what the presence of this spread of worm in few areas of so American countries and European countries and Africa, South Africa, India, also Delhi, Mumbai. At the time 2001, there is no big IT in southern India, Bangalore and Hyderabad and Trivandrum, Chennai. There is no such IT. But after, if you see that within 19 hours later, that expanded in such a way that so worm is such kind of a program. Let you take COVID-19 also in the similar way. So in the computer, worm also works in the similar manner. So these are the common attacks. The denial of service attack. So if I wanted to attack a particular system, I'll install these zombies across all systems and I'll try to run the zombies at a time on a particular system. In the in the older days, when you are accessing a web like a Yahoo page, is taking too much time because that server is too much busy. Somebody has been done some kind of an had been done kind of a denial of service attack. So if you see that zombies on innocent computers, like innocent computer, maybe your computer also, in one of the surveys which we have done in 2015-16, So we understand is 67% machines are infected with the zombies, but out of 99% people doesn't know about that zombies in their systems. That is where zombies works. But with this, what happens? So there is a, whatever the communication bandwidth level DDoS attacks happen. So bandwidth also continuously they are pushing the data in that bandwidth. So that bandwidth also will be slow. Then infrastructure level, all routers, switches are continuously have to transfer these files from one network to another network. So they are also busy. They also will down. So that is where you have to look into that. I wanted to script. This is also basically a kind of a denial of service attack, where any for accessing any HTTP or any FTP data or even the WhatsApp, you have to send the synchronization request and synchronize acknowledgement. Once server is sent synchronized document and response will see that. If client is not responding back to it for third handshake, that whatever the memory will be filled up. So basically, if a client is sending SYN only, it's not responding third acknowledgement are possible. So spoofing, like X is trying to send a message to Z, but Y in between comes and understand I am Z. You please tell me, so that the data could be transferred to third party. So this is called man in the middle attack and secure social engineering. So nowadays these are the attacks are happening on individual, and whatever the cyber crimes at this moment happening, they will call for OTP, they will call for updating your software in your mobile, they will like an act as a supporting your bank account, KYC, all these things are comes under social engineering attacks, which our previous editions and which we are continuously conducting workshops, and some of you might have already accessed those lectures. So this is what basically ARP spoofing is a technical, pure technical, but understand in the terms of A and B's are talking each other, that between C is coming and getting that C is telling to B, I am A, and C is telling to A, I am B, so that whenever A and B is talking each other, C can get the message. So they generally simply they won't do these attacks. They will understand you. They will gather as much as information about you, your organization, and understand you how you are accessing internet and how your organizations act in internet. They understand. Then only attack starts. And if you they feel that you are weak in that subject, so definitely they'll try to get into your activity, or they will look into that your system. If they understand your system is weak, they attack the system itself, or they understand about your network is weak, they will try to attack your network itself. As an individual, as a system, as a network, every layer and every option we need to secure our network. I'm just overflow buffer overflow program is simply for general people also there. See, this is the characters. If I say that when you give an input to any page, only the 10 characters, that is where they written program. Character buffer is 10 characters. But if somebody is input as a, they were given 20 characters as input, then server doesn't understand why this is required. If there is no proper coding is not written by that programmer, what happens? That system hangs. So that is where the buffer overflow attacks are will over. So some security solutions. So you need to use at every layer. When it is the data, you should use encryption control layer. You have to use IDS, vulnerability assessment, you have to do it. Host level also, antivirus, access control, user authentication, you have to do that. Network, firewalls, perimeter level firewalls, network level intrusion detection and prevention systems, vulnerability tools, you have to use it. So all these tools which we discuss slowly, another 15 to 20 minutes, then we can close the things. So authentication is one of the thing. Authentication is basically something you know. That's what is the password you know. To access anything like your website, your email, password is required. Now Gmail, you take it, if password is required. If somebody knows about your password, what happens? So they can access their email ID also, your Gmail ID also. Now Gmail introduced that something you know or something you have, like in your mobile. So whenever you are trying to access your password, even though after giving password, they were sending a message to your mobile that you are planning to log in. Whether you wanted to make it log in, yes or no. You have to click in the mobile, yes. Then only you can access your email IDs. So this is called something you have. So you have mobile. So mobile mein message aa raha hai. You are getting a message in mobile so that you have to accept it. So something you are sometimes whenever you are going to office, you have to give your identity with what you are, like your iris, your fingerprint, or any other solutions, biometric solutions can be given. So something you know, something you are, something you have. So either two of them if you are using, then it is called two-way authentication, two-factor authentication, because you are using two factors. So we always say that whether it is a normal user ID, Gmail ID, or even the financial transaction, if you use two factors, definitely that whatever the cyber attacks are happening, threats are happening during this COVID-19 could be stopped as much as. If you are using three-way authentication, multi-factor authentication, because you can also use it more than two. Yeah, generally, when you are using more than two factors, then we call multi-factor authentication. So, what are other possible remote authentication protocols? Sometimes, what when you have a 10 systems in your organization, each system should understand with some authentication without user intervention, and you have to use this as an enhancement of the passwords. So these are the some of the iris scans, retina scan, fingerprint and geometry, voice, keystroke, signature. These are all some of the biometric solutions. And what is the firewall? A network device that creates a separation between public networks and private networks by examining network traffic and allowing only specific traffic to pass between public and private network, trusted and untrusted. The public network is untrusted, private network, whatever your network, your LAN is trusted network. So it is an intermediate device which understands based on the rules, it filters the network communication and allows you. So that is where the firewall useful. The firewalls are variety of firewalls are there because of the it is not scope of firewall here. Only we are only looking about the tools for the firewall. Otherwise, you have a different layers, different layer protocol based firewalls are application firewalls, network firewalls, packet filtering firewalls. A variety of firewalls are there. Or looking about them as an individual, when you are coming to an individual, what is exactly you required? When you are using Windows machine, the Windows is having Microsoft Security Essentials or Windows Defender. So either one of the things you can use it, because when you are using Windows operating system license, when these two are coming, so better you use these two rather than using third party. Why? Because I am saying that. So as a developer of application, I know that what kind of things are there, what problems are there. As in Microsoft is developed an operating system of Windows, so I know that what kind of problems, threats would come to my Windows because I only developer. So where I using I myself is using in a kind of this firewall of my firewall would be configured proactively to attack, counter attack such kind of attacks. So I am the best known of my operating system, so that I am the best also counter attack of various attacks on this system. So if everybody thinks that a third software, third firewall uses, even though there are free tools are available for Windows also, but I always suggest you that better use known devil only. But he knows everything, so he also knows how to secure them through their firewalls. So whenever you are using Microsoft operating system, better use the Microsoft related products only. So it almost checks 90%. That means it is, you can say that you have a kind of a good solutions. When it is coming to Linux, the IP tables are the everybody uses, so that you can very easily use IP tables. IP tables are the desktop based, server based tools also there. In case if you don't have these IP tables also have some extension. Contact essentially tracks the connection for all networks. IP tables are as its name says, only IP layer only. It may not check application layer. So basically it can support you layer 3 only IP tables. But however, if you add contract a level 4 layer communication also, you can filter it. So then net filter is one of the filter which is coming with GUI based on the IP tables only, and it can do all network address translation, port translation can be, and even though some API layer third party you have a kind of antivirus, you can add it like in a UTM box, unified threat management is nothing but firewall is having various options like IDS, IPS, content filtering, URL filtering, anti-virus package, all you can integrate it and then a unified solution will come to you. So to make it as a unified solution by yourself, by individual, or you wanted to do research on the firewall technology, the net filter tool would be a better tool. While you are making a test beds for your research and you require a kind of tool for the firewall technologies, then net filter is one. And if you this net filter is having a kind of a number of projects, you can participate in these projects and develop and support in this process, and you can take it as an exercise or you can take it as an MTech project and support this. So MTech project, you are satisfying MTech needs and also you are supporting the public. So I always suggest NetFilter tool. OpenBSD, if you are based on the OpenBSD operating systems, this is PF. PF sensors are very much good. Even though whether you believe it or not, some of the state data centers are using this tool as their major firewall. They are not believing third party. They are investing as much as third party softwares. But however, they were using this open source by implementing or by having two or technical people on that. So even though that two or three technical people continuously working on this, so their 90% is savings are happening, and 99% is they are able to do what exactly the commercial tool is able to do it. So this can be download from this URL, and the good documentation is available, and you can implement it yourself. The Siphon is an open source VPN. I'm very sorry, the VPN project for Windows Android. So what is exactly Python? We will come back. What is the before going to the VPN, we will discuss. I'll come back to the VPN again. IDS is intrusion detection system is the device that sits between firewall and gateway. See, firewall is the technology only filtering. It cannot understand what is the data. So there is another device is required to understand the data, to understand your systems, you understand your application. So what kind of intrusions are happening, it also should understand and intimate to the firewall to block it. So otherwise, firewall cannot look about the data. If you are using IP addresses, other than that, it won't do anything. So if you want to do application filter, again, application level interface, you have to do it. And even though if you do it, what kind of HTTP protocol, whether you are allowing HTTP, whether you are allowing FTP, that only it checks. But what is the HTTP data is going, what is FTP data is going, whether the HTTP data or FTP data is authorized or not, that also it won't check. So you need to again add on as many as. Even though after adding also intrusions, whether the suppose let's say somebody's tried your password 3 times, so your firewall should understand 3 times tried, fourth time you should not allow. But who will tell that? So you required intrusion detection system. Intrusion detection system understand your application access and as per your application rules, and if any bypassing something is happening, bypassing the rules, so it automatically alert that respective people. So across all sensors will be there. Sensors, you will collect the data. Based on the data, it will be giving. The Snot is the best antivirus tool. And of course, there is the basic analyzer and security engine base is there, which would be there. Otherwise, Snot is a SAM like in a 200 MB, less than 100 MB file, which you can install, and maximum you required 1 GB disk size. And it gives a kind of any commercial tool output. And most of the commercial tools also considering Snot is their base, actually, the actual program. And OSX HIDS. So what is the major difference between NIDS and HIDS? Indirect system. HIDS is host introduced indirect system. Technologies never changes. NIDS sits the sensor sits across all junctions of the network and collects the data and understand the information. Where HIDS is only for particular server. If you are looking for an HTTP server, it sits only the sensor at HTTP server or a FTP server only. So OSEC HIDS is a beautiful tool. You can download it and install from osec.net. And NogOS is a monitoring tool, is known for being the best server monitoring software. In case if you have research is the monitoring side, or you, as an organization you are looking about this tool, NogOS you can be see entire my grid network monitoring entire, including the processor performance, RAM availability onwards, who are accessing, how much they are accessing, everything we built on NogOS, which we called as a Paryavekshanam tool of CDAC. OCM, Allen Vault OCM, if you are working on security event and incident management kind of tools, the OCM is the better tool for anybody. And you can access this OCM tool and download it. And Squill is also, generally we call it as a Squill, built on network security analyst for network security analysis. And it also gives a beautiful GUI, and it can be downloaded. This is available in Squill from this particular URL. Facilitates the practice of network security monitoring and event-driven analysis. HoneyD is a honey daemon, is a small daemon that creates a virtual host on the network. So if you wanted to understand what kind of threats are coming towards your thing, and if you wanted to build your threat intelligence at your organization, you need to build this HoneyD network. HoneyD is like acting as a different servers are hosted at your system. One single system is looks like with various IP addresses and telling to the attacker that I'm having this data. So attacker try to come at your place, understand, and to access your data. It regards each and everything how attacker he is accessing these tools. So that to invite the hacker and how hacker technologies is using, that you wanted to understand this is the network entity. There are a number of tools are added to this entity tools. And if somebody wanted to do reverse engineering, like in a virus program, you wanted to reverse it, how do you require? So there are a lot of tools are there, like APK tool. APK is basically is Android package tools. Reversing of these APK files you required. Dex2jar, DStorm, Java debugger, because you require debugger. Then OLEDBs is one of the open source. Yara is the tool primarily used of malware. All tools are available in the qualified distribution. If you download one qualified distribution is support. That's enough. Now coming to the virtual private network, most of you are using or accessing remote your office softwares. So EPN is very much important. A temporary highly secure connection over a public network. So basically you are part of accessing your internet at home, but while you are connecting, you are using a VPN software to connect your office. So then logically it's the same, but you are using an internet in between as a medium to access your service. Otherwise, it is if anybody from the internet are trying to access this data, because it's encrypted through VPN channel, they cannot see the data. Even if they collect the data, you cannot see that. So you required a good authentication, integrity checks, encryption, which we discussed. All tools could be utilized. Address management. So a specific allocation of address management would be done by your system administration department, where they can access the things, and multi-port support. So there are three types of are there. Remote access VPN. So somebody you can connect to the one server through internet and access your corporate, but the data is from your this server to your computer. It may not be there. And if you have a two offices, the two offices can be utilized. This you can build the VPN across these two offices. This is called business to business VPN. Through ISV itself, you will do this entire VPN connectivity. So OpenVPN is one solution. Thus, as we discussed, a 256-bit encryption via OpenSSL is protect your data. Here, OpenSSL would be used. So basically, if you attacker point of view, they bypass firewalls and directly connect VPN. But firewalls itself will get this feature VPN so that firewalls will understand when you are proactive security, and exploit may you try to firewalls also, like the great firewalls of China. If anybody in China wanted to access that, they can use a VPN. This VPN will be allocated in a outside of IP address, so that they will connect to the outside and they access the things. So they avoid the great firewall of China firewall. And OpenVPN excels here too. By cloaking your data to make it appear like a regular internet traffic, it can circulate deep packet inspection. Only through understand that the packets deep packet, then only you can identify them. Otherwise, most of the VPNs will support it. And so OpenVPN is open source. Developers are encouraged to submit bugs report to the improve the protocol so that it continuous availability is there. Of course, security and open source tools also we have an issue, but when you compare commercial tools, that the faster patches are coming majorly to the open source tools. And coming to the free and open source exploitation tool, Metasploit. If you are a penetration tester and exploit development, Metasploit is one of the tool where in 2005 onwards I am using this better Metasploit. And of course, this is also commercial edition is also available, where it could be 5,000 rupees per year per user license cost. And at the same time, that updates may not be available. It is also open source and free. You can utilize it. If you are doing some kind of an exploit development, this Metasploit would be very much helpful. And it is like it's even the commercial edition 5,000 when the competitor is almost charging $30,000. So, and this is the one of the best tool you can have. W3F, if you are only web application security editor or exploiter, W3F tool, it's only for HTTP. However, the previous tool Metasploit is for all kinds of protocols. SQL Map, if you are the developer, SQL Map is an open source penetration testing tool. It automates the process of detecting and exploiting SQL injection firewalls. And SET is the software social engineering toolkit, incorporates many useful social engineering toolkit. Open source intelligence could be implemented. Of course, there are separate open source engineering tools are available, which are very good tools. But SET is one of them. This is available through GitHub. You can download it. SQL Ninja is also with respect to the SQL injection. And Gradis is an open source framework for enabling effective sharing of information among the participants of penetration tests. If we have a team of the penetration testers, and if you are targeting a particular organization editing, the editing, if you wanted to make it as a sharing of the across these members, could be evolved and understand. Let's say example, there are 10 people are working. One member already bought or penetrated the information and already achieved in first day itself. The remaining 9 members should understand that. So how they understand? This is the kind of a common framework of these 10 users are working. Once he updated the result, so all 9 members can know that, so that 9 members can take next step rather than working on the same step. So this is one good tool. And of course, it has a plugins to read and collect the output of variety of network scanning tools. Like if you're using Nmap, Burpsuit, and Nikito, such kind of tools across this framework, you can have these tools and integrate it with an API. APIs are available with this tool. So the security editing and the final one, this Kali. Kali is having all kinds of tools. Kali 5, you can download it. It's, our goddess name is there. Fortunately or unfortunately, you required VM. You can install VM. You can install in different ways. You can install it like in a rather than installing, you can open it like in a with a CD itself, or VM or USB. So there are so many tools are there: information gathering, vulnerability analysis, wireless attacks, web application security, exploitation tools, forensic tools, snipping and snooping, password attacks, maintaining access, whatever that, all types of tools are available in this Kali. So Nmap is one of the good tool. It's called Network Mapper, where it is having GUI with the Nmap to understand the remote systems, what kind of services are running, what kind of ports are opening. this tool generally we use it. Wireshark is another tool where it's a kind of a collection of the data packets which we can, if anybody using clear data like username passwords, who understand username passwords also. So more information gathering of a particular user or a particular organization could be done through Wireshark tool. And when we are learning, Wireshark tool is very much useful. Once you land, generally we use as a TCP dump. OpenWRT is basically vulnerability application scanner, like it's a fork of the open source Nessus tool. And ItterCap is one of the tool is for using man in the middle attacks. Like if two people are talking each other, the third party I should have. So this tool would be useful for that. Gidra is a software reverse engineering where if you wanted to make a reverse engineering tools, Gidra is one of the software. Shift is a group of open, free, instant response and forensic tools designed to perform detailed digital forensic examination of variety of settings. Shift is a SANS product. So SANS is delivered. So most of the forensic engineers, when they start the career, the Shift tool itself, they will use it. This is open source, all-in-one forensic toolkit can easily build and write in cloud environments. And binwalk is to extract and find interesting files data from binary images. It would be useful for in the reverse engineering, malware reverse engineering tools, extract raw compression streams, identify codes for a variety of architectures, and even the entropy analysis also it would be useful. Heuristically analyze unknown compression and encryption. And most of the things are for visualizing the binary data and understanding the difference between arbitrary number of files. So DD risk is a kind of, and a DD is nothing but disk duplexing. Basically to data recovery tool. If you lost something, you can recover it. Of course, is in the 70 to 80% these tools works compared with any other tool. Explico is another tool helps you in extract files from internet traffic, capture the application data contained. Basically, the PCAP file extracts what are the kind of POF file, IMAP file, SMT file. When you dump PCAP data collecting, if you wanted to specifically look into that one variety of protocol like POP, IMAP, SMTP, FTP, TFTP, that can be extracted through Explico tool. And encryption is critical for many security standards, including everyone's. So these are the boards. SSL setbot is an open source automatic client that patches and deploys SSL DL certificate for your web server. So this is one of the good tool implemented in that. VeraCrypt is a free open source. TrueCrypt is how it is the disk encryption tool. VeraCrypt is the free open source disk encryption utility available to encrypt file system. Nowadays, we store our data in Dropbox, Google Drive, and other cloud-based software with generating privacy and with no guarantee of the privacy and security. So VeraCrypt, you encrypt it and upload into the Google Dropbox so that your data cannot be seen by anybody. See, these are some of the open source tools.
It's 13 hours.
Yeah, I'm coming to end. I'll show you these. So I'll open into this. So these are the this is the HTTPS open so awesomeopensource.com. So if you are a user, rather than user, if you are a student or research student, these are the very good resources of this. Even the user also, the open source games, library, software quality, data storage, text processing, learning resources. There are a lot of things are there. But when it is coming to the security, if you look into the security, 396 are there. So security, again further 1000 penetration testing, privacy tools, SSH, encryption, cryptography, or the detection, exploit programming, CAPTCHA, how to identify the CAPTCHAs, how to avoid the CAPTCHAs. Forensic, there are 62 are there. Let's say if you go to the forensic side, so these are the so many resources and tools. Sleuthkit is the library and a collection of command line digital forensic tools. Black Hat Arsenal tools, official Black Hat Arsenal security tools repository, pen testing toolkit, OLE tools, all are available. So this is one of the very good open source, awesome opensource.com. Now, second, coming to that, say the hacking tools. So if you are looking at Android, anti-malware, browser add-ons, if you look at the browser may, if you wanted to install to a variety of tools in your browser rather than, so web security suite is the collection of web application security tools available from inside your browser itself. If you wanted to know Firebug, tamper data, no script, this is also use no script cannot run. If somebody is trying to run a script in through your browser, so they cannot run it. So otherwise what happens when you are accessing website, they will run browser, they will collect your passwords, whatever the passwords are there in the browser, so they may steal these passwords. So such scripts may run continuously and collect the information of your individual information. If you keep this no script browser here, that could be helps that such kind of JavaScripts, such kind of any script like in PHP scripts can't run your website. Is a tamper data is an add-on proxy that lets you view and modify your HTTP requests. Like if you other tools, forensic tools also available, firewall and IDS. If you are going sleuthkit, Maltego is one of the open source intelligence tool which you can use it. Ncase forensic also you can download it. Coming to the firewalls and IDS, Tinywall firewall, Zone Alarm firewall, Surrogate IDS, OSSec HIDS, all tools are here itself. You can download it and use it. And what tools are, what are the rank, their ranking? If you want to know, you can visit this sectools.org. So the rank, if you look into that, the Wireshark, the tool we discussed, the data collection, packet collection, the number one tool. Every week this ranking will change. However, you look into that, whether it is free or open source or not here. Like Metasploit is also free and also is a payment is there, but now it became as a 2, last week 3. Now Nessus is down from 2 to 3, and this is also payment. Of course, these are the open source tools, so you have a 1 month delay or 1 week delay. Support will be available for free softwares also. Like Aircrack, Snart, there are 125 tools information is already available so that you can see this particular thing. With this, I wanted to close the session. If you have any kind of questions, I can answer next 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. So we have some queries in the chat box. So the first is how to deal with cybersecurity issues during the COVID-19 pandemic.
See, it is COVID-19 pandemic. That's what we have to see that. So the first point is always what you are, what purpose you are using internet. These attacks are via internet or via mobile, via any other form. That is what you need to assess, and based on the assessment, how do you want to make it as an avoid such kind of attacks by implementing some kind of methods, methodologies, tools. Tools, there are number of tools are there, but everybody doesn't have the expertise of these tools. Maybe like an attack, like somebody is asking an OTP for some purpose. See, for exchanging money and for getting money by me, or why my OTP should be shared. If anybody you wanted to share money of yours to other, OTP is required. If anybody is planning to give the money to me, then why they were asking my OTP? So this need to, you have to evaluate and assess, like understand about what is the technology behind that while you are using the any payment. So most of the attacks as an individual is basically the financial transaction. Uh, you have to limit your sharing of your OTP passwords, or understand the how to do the payment, what are the needed, why you always question yourself, why I have to give OTP while I am the payment, why I should not give my OTP to others when I am receiving the payment. If this kind of understanding if you have with respect to what you are using, then you can avoid such kind of attacks. I only told an example, but it can be applied for every action. Because I cannot know, I cannot understand each and everybody's problem. What is exactly the problem during this COVID-19 epidemic, pandemic? So you need to assess yourself, and specifically if you have, then definitely we can help. You can contact our website infosecawareness.in, and we always help, and we have our own um, toll-free number is available. You can see in the website itself.
Okay, thank you, sir. Uh, Sir, can you view the questions in the Q&A
Just a minute.
sessions?
I'll look into that chat. No.
Q&A. Yeah, there are many queries in there.
Uh,
Or else I'll read it out, sir. I'll read it out for you.
So one question is like we have two main areas for handling security: blockchain technology and cyber security. How do you see the future prospects of these two areas, sir? Are you able to hear us, sir? Hello?
Hello, is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, basically blockchain technologies are distributed databases, distributed technology. They use it for kind of not tampering the data and visible to anybody. So once you are update the record, that record is nobody can tampers, and everybody knows in that particular technology uses as part of that particular event. So when tampering, non-tampering, definitely the security is there. Even though the distributed databases, all kind of the databases security is required, that is required. So in the future, every database becoming towards the blockchain technology itself. Every data will be part of the blockchain technology. So when that is growing in that way, cyber security is also required in the similar fashion itself. So these are the future technologies next 5 to 10 years. So if there is no other technologies are coming, so definitely these are the future technologies, and you can work it out. And this is the best, even the research purpose also. So very good possibilities are there. What is the effectiveness of open source tools versus commercial version? See, if you take it, the editing, cyber security editing tools itself. So any commercial tool also, which will get output as much as required 70 to 80% only. When you take two best commercial tools on that day, so each tool is having 7. expertise is required. And it is not only the editing tools, for any kind of tool that human interface is required. So you can secure with the tools is a maximum to 70 to 80%. However, the process mechanisms and human interaction is must to enable your individual security or your organization security.
Okay.
Will the crisis team communicate and share documents without compromising confidentiality or legal privacy? So that's what I was discussed. Tools like a Vicar. Vicar you can set up your purpose. Video conference also. So whether it is a Zoom is also collecting the information of your individual, your organization, your files, or any commercial tools also is doing the similar way. So because these tools are all depend on data collection only. If you don't want to share your data, so better you use it like a Jitsi. You load this Jitsi kind of tool at your office, and that servers you can keep this at your team level and access this team. Jitsi we installed at CDAC, and we have seen that there is no such communication is happening, and we enable some other tools integrated with that, so that no data stores anywhere, only the between the across the users who are part of the team. So when the team is working on crisis, if the team are 50 to lesser than 50 members, the Jitsi is one of the good tool. But don't use Jitsi Singapore edition or Jitsi their video tool. So you have to install this open source tool at your place and use the tool. So such kind of, that is where you can communicate. And Jitsi is also using 128-bit encryption. But however, if you wanted to use more encryption, you can build that. Can we also use Tails OS for multifaceted security? Yes, Tails are, because I much on much about darknet and all. The Tails OS is one of the very good operating system while you want to access and do research on dark web and deep web kind of networks. Whether ClamWin antivirus software gives protection against ransomware. See, when the same question, if I'm asking you back, any commercial software uses the same way, it also uses, because I said the alternative. I said alternatively for whatever that Casper Sky, even though it is another popular tool, I said, but so definitely it does ransomware. So because it is a basically signature based. See, if you have an anti-signature and if you update it, then it works for this also. Suppose if you are building, if you have an anti-signature, you can also update that facility is there. As a researcher, you can also update this particular ClamWin antivirus. That is one advantage than commercial tools. We have two main areas of this is how to control cookies which has appearing in Android. Yes, so the you that is, this cookies should come through. There is various apps or applications or browsers. So that definitely there is the controls are there in the each respect to that particular tool itself. So maybe we update this document in our website. After 3 days, 4 days, you can check this document. Okay. We are able to trace application generated number, like number 99, and the number is WhatsApp number. See, these are some of the softwares which hackers are designing. Let's example, suppose let's say I went to a short trip. I have taken a mobile number of Hungary, and I started a WhatsApp communication. Okay. See, until I use that number, so even I'm coming from India, I can call from and act as an Hungary number, the WhatsApp. Similarly, there are the scripts are there. The visibility of these numbers could be added. So, and such numbers you should not entertain and you should not discuss and you should not lift it. There is any authentication mechanism which is a complete secure, since multi-factor authentication are also stolen using social engineering attacks. Yes, but see, there is 100% security in them. As I said rightly before, the tool is helps only the some percentage. The uses and policy and the human who is using. These three should together to make that 100%. Either one of the failed, your breach, that there could be a breach. So multi-factor authentication to increase the kind of a tool support is as much as 60% to 80%. But if you share these two factors, like if you are using OTP and if you are using password, both are, if you are given, is definitely it would be definitely there is a breach. But if you are using some kind of what you are, like your biometric things in the multi-factor, definitely you are the only user can use it. Like you can open your iPad with your biometric printer and some password. Both you are using, then only you can hear. While you are sleeping and your kid come and use your fingerprint of your thing, then it is possible to open it. That kind of breach is there. So you need to keep a kind of a policy that at home also. So there is a such kind of things how we can add it. If you add that, then only we can say that 100% security is possible. Sir, if my mobile or laptop is stolen or lost, is there any means that access can be restricted? Who exactly who we should approach? It's a cybercrime department or IT cell or who? See, your mobile, your laptop stolen or lost. See, if you consider any kind of an Apple-based devices, it can be tracked very easily because these devices are very well attached with the proper authentication mechanism, and the database would be maintained. Wherever these devices are opened, they cannot tamper as much as these serial numbers and whatever the numbers they were given. So, but other devices like the Samsung mobile devices and all, also having the facility to track your mobile even though after lost. So, or otherwise you can remotely you can. But most of the people are using kind of cheaper mobiles like MI. If when you compare to MI Samsung, they are very competitive user in the price. But when 1,000 rupees less, then we will prefer the MI mobile. But when it is the same, MI also is now giving to such kind of softwares. But Samsung, when it is a South Korean based mobile, also gives the similar kind of facility of iOS where you can track your mobile. Even I am the example in 2008 or 9, which I used the software. Some that my mobile lost, but I am able to track it. Whenever he is keeping in a new SIM, that message should go to my wife's number, other number, and we are able to track where exactly this guy is there, which mobile number is hosted. And there is a facility in those days also you can remotely delete the files, your important files. So such facilities are there. You need to look such kind of mobile when you are required. When coming to the who should approach is basically for anything is the cybercrime police station, because cyber means any IT ICT devices will come under as part of cyber. So you have to approach cybercrime, and of course, even though there is a cybercrime.gov.in website, there also you can be. So we understand that through cybercrime.gov.in, people are not giving full details, and people are not giving immediately these details. See, any money transaction, anything, if you are reporting in the 24 hours in the respective bank and cybercrime.gov.in, they can track, at least they can stop whom that money was transferred, where it is transferred, so that helps them to track. Even though we are not able to get back sometimes, but tracking is very much important, and RPA is suggesting that if anything happens immediately within 24 hours, don't look about the 24 hours. At the same minute, if you are updating, so there is a possibility to get the money back or stop the transaction from one member to another member, as it takes some time to transfer the money. So that's where you can track them easily. Please share the PPT, sir, as it would be shared through various media at our website. How will incident response be managed technically with a complete remote workforce? Yes, there is the incident response team. You have to in the incident response itself. There is a variety of what you can call functions. For each functions, you have to write proper processes, and continuously monitoring help is required. But actually, people will say that this is reactive once it has happened. But even if it has happened, when you have a kind of a logs review, and this whatever kind of a monitoring possibilities are there in a particular organization, they continuously look into that manually and through this one. You can have access these things, and you can manage it. It's a separate subject, and if required, you just mention here, and we will try to conduct what is exactly incident response, how to establish an incident response team, and how to integrate with the certain, which we can give it a document to you, share it and offline. How to check MD5 integrate check in Windows operating system for the downloaded files? See, the most of the websites are there. The websites itself is give that MD5 checksum file with the number and all. After downloading, you download, just type in Google MD5 checksum tool for Windows, and download it and run that tool and attach the download file to that tool, so that it gives an MD5 check number checksum, and need to compare with that what is that website is posted. Both are same, then you have downloaded right software, or in between nobody is did anything else. Nowadays, all financial apps using chatbots, and most of them platform asking credential, is it safe? See, if anybody is asking credential, either chatbot or any human being, you should not share with anybody. Nobody will ask a password, credentials, PIN number from the, if that source is the right source. If somebody is asking, means that definitely he is not right source. He is trying to get, or he is trying to do some fraud with you. Banking related OSNI tools, like we know based on account, no identify bank name. I didn't understand this course. It's like we know based on account, no identify bank name. Nelly Ravikumar, but I didn't understand this question, what exactly. Is there any open source tools to know number of smart gadget users, PUBG users in particular area? Yeah, you're asking a kind of which is required for LES. Maybe you are, I think you are from LEA. There is no such tools to number of smart gadget users, because uh, these are all data is available to mobile ISP. In the mobile ISP should have some kind of a mechanism to monitor your mobiles. One side we are saying that somebody should not monitor my mobile. If it is Indian government trying to monitor these things, that how many are using PUBG users, PUBG games, you there would be a kind of a news, big news, that how can government can monitor itself. But the same thing Chinese people are doing with their own games, own tools. We are happily giving without either knowledge or without any knowledge. See, God always does for us. We need to trust somebody. So if anything monitoring and anything collecting the data by government, why we should against? And when somebody is other side, other networks, and some Google of US, or some like in a TikTok from China is stealing our information, whether knowingly or unknowingly, we are not bothering about that. But otherwise, I don't think so. These tools may not be available at this moment. Even the government also not doing any kind of such things. But mobile operators may have some information. If they are monitoring anything kind of in a network activity or mobile internet activity by themselves for understanding market, they may have this. Or otherwise, some kind of mechanism you need to bring into that as per the privacy laws. Are there any security privacy vulnerabilities with using Chrome? See, every software having its own vulnerabilities, own things. You need to understand those vulnerabilities, how much risk you have, and whether using that particular software, how much kind of data breach is happening from you. That could be known. See, while conducting Zoom session in one of the university, they were not they were shared link. Link was given to each and everybody, and whoever not interested in that, like in some kind of an anti university committees are logged in, and they were made that entire session. Even the some political leaders are there. They were made some slogans. They were posted some things. So there could be some kind of a mechanism. See, because of the tool is not only the one thing. You need a process. How to block the users. Once session started, how to stop other users not to come. How to block the other users to stop the activities. These kind of things should have some kind of a process mechanisms and some like an understanding the tool is required. Or otherwise, even though while you are using operating system, there are number of vulnerabilities. Microsoft may collecting that data. So if you are not ready to start use the Microsoft operating system, then there is okay. Linux may be your alternative. If you are comfortable with the Linux, you can use the Linux rather than Microsoft because Linux doesn't collect the data. But Microsoft is now 10 operating systems like any Android app, Android OS, and they are also monitoring software. They are also apps. They are Microsoft top 10 also now collecting the data whatever that you are chatting. So it is a choice of yours. What is the data? What is the thing you wanted to share or not to share? Accordingly, you need to select operating system and the apps. Give me some of the details about OCNIT, open source intelligence. See, the SET tool, SET, SET, social engineering toolkit, and also the what is exactly we discussed about this other tool also I discussed it. So these are the two tools if you can go through and definitely you have a lot of knowledge on that. Mm. Otherwise we should have some other session open source intelligence tool. Any OCNet tool for FB, Instagram, WhatsApp. Yeah, Maltega tool is one of the tool works for, but there are some tools are going on. They are not as much as good, so popular. But set tool and Maltega tools can be utilized for the OCNet. Sir, there are any tools for using dark web? Yes, dark web Tor is the main tool. Web browser is required. Of course, Tor also. If you want to hide yourself, you need to use some kind of an like a Tails OS. Tails is like a VPN based operating system, so that it always takes new area, new IP, so that it can hide you backend what exactly you are accessing. List of open source intelligence we will try to conduct in next coming weeks. Then we will discuss more on this one. How to detect zombie present in our system as they are not active on particular time? Yes, zombies are all background processes. In your mobile also, there are so many zombies will run background and continuously track your activity. So whatever the activity they were tracking without your permission, we generally called it as a zombie. Most of the security, like in a internet softwares, will try to identify them, but it's not exactly 100%. But however, it helps them at least some percentage. So better use the internet security softwares to understand zombies. So I wanted to know what are the best IPsec based open source VPN, which we discussed in the today's presentation. Maybe you can go through that, see that. Thank you for great presentation. Open source tools, OSINT tools, just type OSINT tools. There are packages are available. You can write to me or ICE@cdac.in. I will share that OSINT open source intelligence tools. I understand most of the tools members are expected open source intelligence tools. Rather, see, open source intelligence is the most on gathering intelligence gathering tools, not security tools, which we generally. So we'll try to give some another time what is exactly open source tools in the next month, same time, August 4th, first week, on open source tools, intelligence tools lecture. Okay, then maybe I think enough. If anybody wanted to further wanted to access, like anybody wanted to contact me, then maybe this is my address. Okay. So please. So with this, I am stopping at this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, we are happy to hear the feedback from the participants. Any participant representing the team may please give the feedback. Anybody interested?
So assessment link would be forwarded to respective emails, so that maybe tomorrow, so that you can assess, and once your assessment is completed, you will get a certificate, e-certificate. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Sir, I would like to request Dr. Rajesh K.S., Head of the Department of Computer Applications, Sengit's Institute of Computer Applications, to say a word of thanks.
Hello, Miss, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So let me take this opportunity to thank CHAS Murthy, Associate Director, CDAC Hyderabad, for an informative talk on tools for cyber security in association with Sengit's Institute of Computer Applications, Kottayam, Kerala. All the participants might have been benefited by your talk on various cybersecurity concepts and got updated knowledge on the open source security tools that are used in cybersecurity. I thank Mr. Jagadish and other ISEA coordinators. I also thank the management of Sengit for the permission given to us to associate with CDAC Hyderabad for this event. On behalf of Sengit's Institute of Computer Applications, I once again thank all of you, including the participants of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So, Jagadish, sir, any words from your end? Shall we
It's okay.
wind up?
Yeah, please go ahead. That's right.
Okay. Participants, CDAC will be sending an email link for the certificate. So once the assessment is over, you'll be getting the certificate. You should give your email ID, name, and the session ID for getting your certificate. And we'll be putting the certificate session ID in the chat box.
No, actually, like they all have received the mail. Morning, they all have received the mail. In that mail, like they will be having a session ID as well as password also. So they can enter their correct name, which it is going to be displayed on the certificate, and they have to enter their correct name and email ID which they have used for registration only. They should not use other email IDs. So please ensure that the email ID which you have used for registration, that you have to supply, and what mobile number you have used during the registration, the same mobile number you have to enter. And it also asks for the session ID, okay, which you might have been received to join this session. The session ID and password, you have to enter the session ID, and you have to enter the captcha code, and after that you have to submit, and your assessment will start. And after the assessment, you will be downloading your certificate. Okay, so that's
Okay,
the
sir.
process with regard to the certificate which you can download. And we will be sending that email. Email also we are going to send, not to all the registered participants. Kindly note that we are not going to send, like there are so many people who are registered, but we are not going to send the assessment link to all the people. Like whoever attended today's session, like we are having the data, and whoever is attending today's session, only we are sending that assessment link. So if there are any other people who approaches also, madam, kindly ensure that they should be registered in our ISA portal, and today they might have been attended the session with the same email ID and mobile number. Only those people will get the link. Okay, so this is for all your information as well as clarity. Okay, thank you. With that, like we thank you with Sangit Information Technology College also for associating and organizing this session, to all our students, faculty members. And we also thank all the participants who are joined this session from various states and various groups and various colleges. for your patiently listening this session for more than 3 hours or so. And we will get back for future sessions, and we also anticipate your support. You are look into our web portal infosecawareness.in for more information. And as told, like, we are also organizing this painting competition on various cyber security aspects. Either students, children, students, for everyone we have given a chance. So I request all of you browse this site for more information, and you also can submit all your entries. I'm just sharing the link right now here. So I request all of you, please visit this portal infosecawareness.in. On the front, like, you will be having this slider where you can click on the particular slider, and you will be getting all the details with regard to the painting competition, and you can participate in that painting competition. All your students, children, whoever it is, and they can participate, and they can send it to our email ID directly. Individually they can send it with their school identity card, kind of with the school identity card. Then for future requirements we will get back to you. So this is the page with regard to the national level competition for the students, and we have different categories for age group 10 to 6 and 17 to 23 and 20 to 25. Engineering students also, they can some poster presentation, popular articles, and technical papers on cyber security, and they also can make some short films with regard to the cyber information security, and animated they can share. And when it comes to the children, like, they can involve drawing, painting, sketching, cartoon, and essay writing, all those things. So we have a time up to 31st August 2020, and all these things you can send it to us at ISEA@cdac.in. So this is our email ID, and if you have any queries also, you can send it on this email ID so that we can get back to you on these aspects. Okay, I hope this will be. I request all of you to proliferate this information within your family, within your WhatsApp group members who are there. So we anticipate more and more more participations, participants from the across Kerala, as well as other states, like, where people are present for this session. All right. So once again, we thank you all of you for joining this session, and we look forward, for future sessions also for your participation. Okay. Thank you. And ma'am, you have anything to say?
Nothing, sir. Thank you so much from our end too, from
Yeah.
St. Kitts College. Thank you so much for.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rani ma'am. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much to all the participants, as well as all the faculty members and all the members from the college. Thank you so much, and we thank Mutti sir for his time, as well as for his wonderful enlightening session on this area. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.